Right now, we're actually still going through this draft. It was just published very shortly ago. So, I think we want to be a bit careful with, as we continue to go through the legislation, what it ultimately lays out in this draft proposal, of course. As you said, it's going to go before the legislature at 11 a.m. Hong Kong time, so just a couple of hours from now. So far, it looks like this security law draft includes the potential for anything to be defended in the public interest. So there's a public interest defense that's sort of written into this draft. That being said, there's additional details in here talking about how, violations of this Article 23 proposal could carry a maximum penalty of potentially life in prison, depending on the severity of the offense. Just to kind of back up a little bit, Heidi, so a reminder to our viewers, this is a fast-tracked piece of legislation that's really, it was exposed to about a month's worth of public consultation. The government of Hong Kong is actually required under some of its basic law constitutions from quite a bit ago that it has to create some kind of a national security law. But I think, obviously, especially over the last few years with the imposition of that Beijing national security law a few years ago, there's a lot of concerns about what exactly this ultimately means, what it means for free speech and chilling effects and that kind of thing in the city. So there's a lot that we still need to ultimately sort of unpack here. But yes, I think we'll have more details for you within the next couple of hours as this develops today.
Article 23, as you mentioned, there does relate to free speech. What has the public reaction been? What are the concerns about this?
So at this point, I think that the public consultation period, as we saw, it lasted about a month. There were some initial concerns that might not have been a long enough period. It does seem like the government got quite a lot of public, sort of consultation and opinion. They published some details earlier this week, kind of exploring different, ideas that the public had for how this could go down. I'd also say, there was a briefing yesterday from John Lee talking about this, saying a bit about how, some within the public were actually concerned about whether they needed it. Obviously, as we've discussed, the city feels they need to sort of expand and protect interests of national security. I think at this point, we've been talking to some people who say the big concern here is whether there would be, again, that chilling effect, that idea that this is a global financial center. This is a major financial center within Asia that attracts a lot of, international businesses. As I think with that Beijing law a couple of years ago, there is that concern about what the implications of this ultimately are for free speech in the city, that sort of, free and, sort of commerce. So again, I think that we just kind of want to take some time to go through exactly what this law is telling us, and then we'll see, I think later today, what the ultimate implications are here.